Good morning. It is NFP Friday, the 10th of March, 9:29 a.m. We had NFP at 8:30 a.m. Let's have a look at what happened. We had 311k jobs added to the market. So we had a fall from January. January was quite a high increase in jobs. But it's higher than the forecast. The Dow Jones forecast was 224k, and we had 311 added. Payrolls rose 311 in February, which was more than expected, showing solid growth. Not as much growth as January, which was pretty intense. Here we had 517k, but nonetheless higher than the expectation. We did have an unemployment rate increase to 3.6 from 3.4, which is not good for the current. It's not good for the economy. Unemployment did increase by 0.2%. Okay, that means more people were unemployed, but we had more jobs added to the market than expected. So, good news and bad news in that report. How's it reflected in the market? Technically, on the S&P 500, we've had the exact play out here from 4,100 to 3,900 play out. Okay, we're just playing the order blocks here. It's obviously very predictable that we're doing it every single day here perfectly. We have the US30, the US30 here on the daily. Again, playing out this candlestick pattern that we've been predicting, and just in this strong daily downtrend at the moment. We pierced 32,500 yesterday, which was what we were looking for as an indication that we had broken out of this range that was sitting between 3,300 and 34,500. Very critical day yesterday. We're watching it. I definitely didn't have any buys on. We had a buying opportunity earlier in the day, which we were looking at, but after the fall from the high after the open, the shape of that was indicative of very strong downward selling pressure, and so we stayed out. And we're going to go over that very shortly. But we can see here, price came down to 3,200, this morning or yesterday, and the daily is definitely a strong downtrend. So selling is safe, buying is not. Okay, I'll say it again: selling is safe, buying is not. Any trades that I do put up here, they are just intended as a guide. By no means follow my analysis by the book blindly, because you will. If you don't think for yourself, you'll find yourself being stuck in positions that you don't understand what's happening, and we don't want that to happen. So please do your own analysis, run your own analysis in the morning before watching mine, and make your own plan, and then and measure that up against mine. Think for yourself. So here we have the 4 hour, okay, and we were looking yesterday at this contention point here of 32,500. It was sitting here. And either it was going to kick down. This is this is still here from yesterday. It was going to play this out, or kick down to this area here. Pretty close, 3,200. 32,000 demand. Or it was going to kick out of demand at 32,500 and go back towards the top of this range. Okay, all signs pointed to bearish for me. And that's what came into fruition yesterday, just prior to NFP. So very strong bearish downtrend at the moment. We are in we can rejig this trend line now, and we can see that this is the downtrend that we're in at the moment. Get rid of that, and definitely looking at some kind of probably continuation grind into the downside, a bit more deeper into 3,200. Then obviously a kick back at some point, back up to 32,500 demand, supply. This has now become the supply zone. Okay, we're in a strong downtrend. Okay, strong downtrend. If you buy and you lose, please don't wonder why that happened. Okay, you've got to be very vigilant on your buying. Very short, sharp, nimble buying scalps. If you're buying, just hoping for the best. So 32,500 supply there. Your sells, if you get a good sell, you can open the take profit up a bit. The wind's at your back. Don't be afraid of selling. This is the pattern on the 4 hour. We'll see a bounce, a push out of this demand zone back up to 32,500, and then a continuation to the downside at some point. When that will happen, I don't know, over the next week. We could see some buying for the rest of the session today, and then a kind of this kind of price action occurring around the demand zone, buying back up to 32,500, and then a continuation to the downside to continue this trend line. However, we could definitely just see more waterfall selling out of that on NFP news down to 3,100 demand. Okay, that's the next zone we're at. 3,100 demand is the next major zone where the imbalance to the left here will fill. Okay, and that's what we're looking at as the next floor in this downtrend. So demand 3,100, 31,000. I'm sorry, I keep getting mixed up with the S&P 500. Please excuse me. I'm sure you're used to it by now. Likelihood for me to see is more of a grinding action along the floor of this trend line here at 32,000 before a buy back up to revisit 32,500 and then a continuation to the downside. So what does that mean for us to see on a higher time frame perspective? How do we think about this from a higher time frame perspective? Well, we think that, we don't have too far to go back up to supply 32,500. So anything you sell above, and selling is safe. If you get any opportunities to sell, take the sell. Okay, and you can let the sell run against you for a little bit. We do have a lot of imbalance here, but selling is safe because it's going to turn around and come back down. Wait though, be patient. Be patient for price to come back up to 32,500 before getting in a nice sell. You can extend that take profit a little bit towards the median and really get a nice, chunk out of that trade. Don't try and go too far because again, it just goes against the strategy. But gauge that. We're going to go to the 1 minute and show you what that means in a minute. Buying, okay, is safer now than it was back here. Okay, well, after this big fall, you can do maybe one buy. You could do probably one buy down here. But just be prepared. We're in a strong downtrend at the moment. Yes, it's made the length of this trend line, but I don't know how far this is going to go. So be very nimble with your buying. If you see, we know what we're looking for. Okay, we're going to go 1 hour now. Just have a look at what's happening here. Okay, we can look at this previous trend line. Price has come back to the top of that. Previous trend line has moved outside, and it's come back and revisited this. Very, very dangerous price action for us. Okay, and if you're buying, beware that you've got a freight train against you. Okay, I can't stop you from buying. I can tell you not to. I will still take buys if there's a good buy on available to me, but I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm looking for. I'm very vigilant on that buy. If I see a pattern that I don't like, immediately I'm out. Okay. Any guide that I put up in the analysis in the morning, if I put any guide up on buying and selling now, that is subject to change depending on the price action during the day. You don't just, it's just not just going to work for the day. You have to understand what's happening. We're going to go down to the 1 minute and just reiterate that pattern right now. Look at what happened yesterday. Okay. Yesterday, some of you guys got this beautiful sell here at the riverbank, top of the riverbank. I came in a bit late to do the analysis. I like you doing your own thing, and a lot of you made a lot of money on this sell in the morning. Came down to the median, took a nice sell there. Why I say take profit at the median, you see, even though it comes back down here, it still goes back up to your entry, then continues down to the downside. You don't know what's going to happen. Take what's on the table, and when you're doing these sell directional trades, when we're in a strong downtrend, if you're selling, okay, extend your take profit to the median. Don't be too greedy. The chance it's going to go down here and one hit isn't high. You just want to take that profit when it's on the table, okay? But congratulations to whoever sold yesterday and took that buy back up to the supply zone. Recognize we're in a strong downtrend. We have two very strong trending moves. We know from statistical analysis this hasn't happened to us since we've been trading this since the ranging began. Kind of mid-December or the start of December after we had that strong uptrend. Okay, if we just look at the high time frame, we had the strong uptrend, and then we came into December and we really haven't had any big movements like this except for 18th of January, which is the day that the strategy lost, and there was I think it was the 9th of January where we had another scenario where a strategy was at risk. I think just here. Okay, so this price action we haven't seen through here. The volatility is opening back up. We do need to adapt to that mentally. And And we can see here that this one massive downtrend was followed by another big move to the downside. Now, this was indicative of further price action. So for me, buying, I was very vigilant on my buying and very, if you're being conservative, don't buy. If you're being safe and trading, don't buy. If you're on a challenge, don't buy. We haven't seen this type of falling price action, and then we saw a secondary massive fall. A consolidation through the middle here. There was some buying opportunity here on the Wednesday. If you saw this price action, how it was pulling back to the median repetitively, you could have had a nice buy there. This, on the other hand, again, what we're looking for is a hot butter knife. Okay, chapter 10. Okay, of the course. This kind of action, we're codifying this at the moment. There's some of us in the team that are working on codifying this, so we've got a very clear red or green alert when this is happening. This is momentum or price action over time. How far price is moving in a space of time. How fast it's moving to the downside. We see here that we're cutting through, especially after this pullback. When we get this area, once it hit this bottom area here, this area where I originally had a buy order on, everything was off for me. I mean, this pattern here is just so dangerous. You can see the higher time frame pull back to the upside, grab of liquidity, and then a cut down. It's you see the shape of the river. It's not flat at all. It's an absolute complete downtrend. It's like the top of a roller coaster, and it's something that once it reached this area here, it was all buys off. Okay, please be aware of that. If you have any pattern that looks like this, please put this into your memory right now. We keep seeing it. It's the way that it cuts down. Okay, I want to see it go hit the bottom, come back up here. Then I'm going to take a buy. If I see it hit the bottom here, the bands, and move back up to the upside, I know that I'm going to get a reciprocal action where it will come back down and kick back out. If you just see it grinding to the downside, pushing really hard, really strongly in one direction, that should set something off inside of you that says, I don't want to trade this. I put it up in the group. I say strong bearish. Please listen to what I say there. I can just say don't buy or don't sell moving forward. But I really want you guys to just avoid these days, because if we can avoid these days, the strategy's very, very, very profitable. When we ran the bot from January through to a couple of days ago, it only lost 4 days. Okay, so we're now in a bit more of a trendy atmosphere, and that's exciting because we know direction, we know which way price is going. And so today, what are we thinking? Well, look, whoever was trading NFP in the morning had this beautiful kick up to the supply zone, right? Here, this is the area of supply that was at the river band up in this area here. Okay, why was the area of supply there? I'm going to get these trades out. This is the area of supply. Boom, supply is there, clear as day. Okay, pulls back. We're in a very strong downtrend. NFP comes up, licks supply, holds. Anybody that got a trade in there after NFP, well done. Okay, because again, same action. Price pulls back, goes to the downside. Now, looking at this price action, absolutely do not buy. Absolutely do not buy today. Don't buy at the moment. Okay, we are in a strong downtrend. Okay, we're pushing to the downside. So on the lower time frame, on the 1 minute, you can see this, it's pushing, it's grinding to the bottom, and we are in a strong downtrend. Where is our area of demand? It's down here. Okay, it's going to pierce this area. It's going to pierce the area, and it's going to go to the downside. Are there any trades available right now for us? Whoever got that nice trade this morning just after NFP, waited a few minutes, waited 10 minutes to make sure that you knew what we're doing. You could see it running out here. Whoever got that nice trade, good work, well done. Okay, is there any other trade available? Well, only if price comes back up to here. Okay, that's all I'm looking for is this kind of trade today. Okay, now, buying wise, let's see what happens. We need to see how price interacts with this area. If price comes down here, okay, stops, comes back up, grinds a little bit like this, pulls back up to the median, this stays flat, okay? We need to see this staying flat like this kind of action. Now, when I say flat, slight skew to the downside is fine, but a general flatness, okay? Something like this, okay, is regarded as flat. If we see this kind of action and it pulls back, then you've got buying opportunities. It needs to come down here and pull back up towards the median first and then come back down. Then you can look at buying. Only then can you buy. Okay? Please put what I'm saying to memory. Please absorb what I'm saying right now. If it just smashes out of the center or out of the top and crosses across and keeps going, it's dangerous, especially in a downtrend. You need to see some pullback to the median so that you see the zigzagging actions occurring. That means there's buying occurring here or there's selling occurring here. Then this has already happened to the downside, right? So if it pulls back up here, you've got a nice sell. This is guaranteed money if price comes back up to here for a sell. If price holds around this area and pulls back a little bit, then you've got a buy opportunity, okay? But if it just continues grinding like this, as we can see, what happened yesterday, if he's grinding straight down, it's a very strong, steep push to the downside at the moment, okay? If it grinds straight down and kicks out the bottom of this, we are at risk of the same kind of thing happening here, okay? So we don't want to see this shape, this pattern, this grind, this push, this fall down the waterfall. Okay, we know we're in a downtrend. We need to see, even now, if we see buying like this, if it comes back up from this area, like it kind of is doing, and gets back to the median, maybe comes up like here, you can buy, okay? You can buy. It can come back down to like there. You can buy that. But if it just grinds straight across, okay, like this, stay out, okay? Take note of the volatility that's occurring. Take note of the momentum. You need to see zigzagging, jagged movement through the price action. That means that there is buying and selling occurring. That means that there's a war going on between the buyers and sellers, okay? If it's just a slide like that, there's no war. It's one way. There's no floor. There's no resistance, okay? And it's going to the downside. So please understand that right now, the highest probability trade, okay, is this sell. Highest prob trade. If you are trading a challenge or you're trying to refine your entries and you're refining your patience, stay with the highest probability trade, because all that means is you're guaranteeing yourself money, and that's a great thing, okay? If you really want to buy, you want to practice getting out of bad sell, you're in a practice scenario, you know what you're doing, you've got to wait for this kind of price action. You need it to zigzag. No straight fall. If this keeps going right now, I do not have a buy on right now. I will not have a buy sitting here. I need to see how price interacts with the bottom of the river first, because God knows it's probably going to just continue grinding like this, and I'm going to be stuck. We don't know how far we're going to go down. Any kind of push outside of the river like this, we don't want anything to do with it. Take the day off. Enjoy yourself, okay? This week has been one of those weeks. If you guys have been lucky enough to catch these nice sells, you understand the price action, you see what's happening, and you've been catching these pullbacks that have been happening every single day to the upside, okay? All right, first one started here on Monday, okay? We pulled down, we came straight out, no trading opportunity here, okay? And on Tuesday, right, we had some buying available here, and we did have a sell available at the end of the session, right? And then a beautiful pull up yesterday into the top. So it's a pullback, right? High time frame pattern. If we pull out to the M15, I'm going to use the M15 for a second. This is the action we're talking about. We're looking for, right? Comes down, pulls back, sell, pulls back, sell, pulls back, sell, pulls back, sell, pulls back. That's the action we're looking at on the 1 minute. Okay, so right, pulls back, sell, pulls back, sell, pulls back, sell, okay, waiting for the next movement down, then the pullback. Where's the pullback going to occur? Let's look at where the pullback's going to occur. We can already plan this out in the 1 minute. It's going to come down here somewhere, and it's going to pull back up to this area, okay? This demand zone will become supply, and that is the next highest probability trade once price reaches down in this area. Okay, and the river will be flowing there, and this will coincide with the top of the river. That's how I want you to see price and look ahead. Okay, so keep thinking like this. Thank you for showing up every single day. Right now, my gut feel tells me that this is going to continue pushing to the downside. So don't have any buy on unless you see this kind of jaggedy price action in the afternoon. Okay, have a beautiful day trading. Have a beautiful weekend. Yeah, look at this. It's very strong to the downside. Have a great weekend, and see you guys next week on Monday.